What's up, nerds, and welcome back to another Noisy News Week for the week of November 14th, 2025. Here's where I share some notable news posted to noisypixel.net this past week. The week's top story is that Sony State of Play took place, which is packed of some major announcements from Japanese and Asian studios. Yuki Kaji hosted the event, so if you kept hearing Hope from Final Fantasy XIII in your head the whole time, well, I'm right there with you. We'll get into the biggest announcements from the show, plus all the other news from the week. Before we get into all that, quick reminder that PAX West 2025 Day 2 video is live on our channel now. We spent the entire day interviewing developers on the show floor to bring you their projects directly. So check that out when you can. It definitely does so much to help us out in terms of proving that this use case that, hey, people want to go to these events or people want to visit them any way they can. We're bringing it straight to you, and I hope you enjoy it. If you have any feedback for those videos, please don't hesitate to tell us as well. Also, our Patreon has been updated. Free tier members get monthly access to our Noisy Pixel magazine at no cost. And supporters, if you want to support us, do get early access to our podcast Unqualified Game Chat a full week before everyone else does. And now, we gotta pay some bills. While I have your attention, our sponsor today is Instant Gaming to share some of their current discounts across some of our favorite games. Like right now, Arc Raiders is 25% off, Final Fantasy Tactics The Evilest Chronicles is 24% off, and one of my favorite games from last month, Tormented Souls 2, is 48% off. Yes, these prices are even tempting for us on staff. You click, buy, and you're playing in minutes. If you need help, Instant Gaming has human support there 24/7. You've got 15,000 plus discounted games to pick from, and it's not actually a marketplace as the keys are original and come from trusted sources. Instant Gaming has a Trustpilot score of 4.7 with 750,000 plus reviews. You pay by card or PayPal in your currency. Use the link below or in the pinned comments where every purchase through those links supports this channel. And thanks for powering up Noisy Newsweek, and thank you to Instant Gaming. Now, back to the show. Starting off the news, Sony's latest State of Play focused entirely on Japanese and Asian developers, and the showcase was packed with updates that actually felt meaningful instead of just a scattershot of weird AAA titles that we've seen time and time again that are only going to show CG trailers and some 2 year from now update. Man, I loved the show, if you're asking my opinion, but I digress. It was a clean run of trailers with a more emphasis on early 2026 releases. Instead of going through all the announcements, and they're all on our website, I'm just going to highlight what I think were the big ones, but you can tell me in the comments below what you saw from the event and what stood out to you, because that'll make it easier on us to focus on the games and bring you coverage of them. So let me just get into some of the announcements. Elden Ring Night Ring The Forsaken Hollows closed out the show with the December 4th release date. The footage highlighted gloomy new regions, heavy armor sets, and bosses that look like they'll immediately ruin your confidence. Further, BlazBlue Entropy Effect X arrives on February 12th, 2026. It keeps the familiar cast of the game, but shifts to the roguelike structure built around fast resets and skill-based progression. We do have a review of BlazBlue Entropy Effect on our website, and I'll just say that I knew this game was going to be really good before everyone else because we were like the first review of this game, and then everyone just jumps back on it. All right, Sony, get in line. Also, we saw Nevergrave The Witch and the Curse getting a March 5th 2026 release date. We got to see some more of its magic-driven traversal and a few new enemy types that play into its Metroidvania layout. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake gets a March 12th, 2026 release date and new footage that leaned into the atmosphere, which shows some dense forest shots and some great lighting. Also, we got to see some of the slower paced action that matches the original's tone. One of the more interesting announcements was Kyuuran Makaism. I hope I'm saying that right. Well, it got a January 29th, 2026 release date. This is a game that's made by the team from Disgaea, where you convert fallen enemies into allies or weapons, which opens up a mix of party setups and attack options depending on how you play. And the trailer showed some great Disgaea-esque designs, and I'm looking forward to learning more about this game. Not so much the quick turnaround of it all, but yeah, it looks interesting. I like creative stuff, and I'm glad these studios are leaning into it. And that covers our main highlights from the presentation, but moving on. Valve announced a new Steam machine for 2026 alongside a revised Steam controller. The system will come in at 512 gigabytes and a 2 terabyte model, but pricing is still unknown at this time. Valve described this machine as more than 6 times stronger than the Steam Deck, built on AMD Zen 4 CPU and RDNA Radeon. Ooh, is it Radeon? Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about computer parts, guys, sorry. With support from 4K gaming and the usual SteamOS features like Suspend, Resume, and Cloud Save. The new Steam controller also supports PC handhelds and mobile through Steam Link. It keeps the trackpads but adds a stronger haptic, magnet sticks, and long battery life. There's no release date yet, but this marks a clear push forward for a living room setup that still works like a PC. More information should roll out next year. Nintendo shared the first trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie this week, along with new casting details. Brie Larson plays Rosalina and Benny Safdie voices Bowser Jr., who shows up with a new version of his magic paintbrush. From what we saw, Bowser is still stuck in his shrunken state from the end of the last movie, and I didn't know that because I haven't seen the last movie, but... So I don't know what the hell's going on. But anyway, the trailer focused on early scenes with Mario and Luigi keeping him contained. Miyamoto introduced the presentation before handing things off to Illumination, who highlighted the returning cast. The footage also showed Peach and Toad heading out into space on their own, with new planets and a quick look at the Megaleg from the original Galaxy game. The Star Festival appears again as the setup for Mario and Peach's trip beyond the Mushroom Kingdom. Yoshi didn't appear in this direct, though recent merchandise leaks suggest that he'll show up later. The Super Mario Galaxy movie hits theaters on April 3rd, 2026. I don't think I will watch this movie. I don't know. I don't care who sees it. I don't have kids. It's not that big of a deal. It's a fucking Mario movie. And lastly, Marvel Rivals launches Season 5 on November 14th across all platforms. The update adds Gambit as a new strategist hero with kinetic card abilities, while Rogue shows up in the story but isn't confirmed as playable at this time. Cross progression finally goes live, letting you carry progress between PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. The season also lines up the game's first anniversary on November 27th, which brings free rewards like 2,500 units and a legendary Jeff costume. The update also adds a 100-player social hub set in Times Square, built for hanging out without combat. An 18v18 conquest mode arrives on November 27th, along with the new Grand Garden map and adjustments to competitive play through a placement system. The developers plan to keep supporting PvE into 2026, following the recent Marvel's Zombies content. We'll keep covering the updates as they roll out. And I said that was the last big headline, but actually it's that Game Freak and Koei Tecmo have confirmed that the Pokemon Pokopia launches on March 5th, 2026 for Nintendo Switch 2. A new trailer is out now showing that the game focuses on building out your Pokemon region, where bonding with Pokemon unlocks abilities that let you reshape the land and attract new species. Pokopia. Pokopia, you know, it's like when you go to fucking Jamba Juice and you have to order like a raspberry tickle me Raz or something stupid. Why is Nintendo making me say Pokopia? Come on, man. I want to say cool things like Firepia or Bombpia, you know? Moving on. Pokopia. Pokopia mixes farming, crafting, and town building with systems for gathering materials, making furniture, growing crops, and designing homes. It runs on a real-time day-night cycle, which shifts weather and multiple biomes, giving the whole setup a steady simulation feel. We'll be sure to cover more as more news is released. Now, onto the news, the updates of the week. Ryu Games shared the first major character spotlight for Threads of Time, its upcoming turn-based JRPG about restoring the order of the Time Knights. The game centers on recruiting heroes from different eras and linking their abilities into combo-driven battles. This revealed focuses on Luna, an 18-year-old fire apprentice from 1000 AD, Rin, a fox-eared infiltrator from 2400 AD, and Bo, a guardian hero from 12 million BC. Each character's era gives them a distinct playstyle, and this spotlight offered the best sense so far of how the cast fits together. Threads of Time is in development for PC via Steam and Xbox Series, with more character breakdowns expected as the team nears closer to launch, whatever that may be. Moving on, Radeon confirmed that Brave X Junction will not release on Nintendo Switch in North America or Europe at this time. The publisher has said in a statement that distribution has officially been prohibited, though the exact reason is still being reviewed. The game is already available on PlayStation platforms, Steam, and the Japanese Switch eShop, where it includes full English support. Radeon pointed to concerns over character designs, specifically defeat illustrations that some reportedly viewed as sexualized depictions of minors. Ooh. The team posted a satirical image addressing the issue, expressing frustration at the ruling despite the game's 0B rating in Japan. There's no word on whether the content will be adjusted for a full Western Switch release, but you do have options. And now we have a ton of visual novel news, so if you don't like visual novels, the rest of the show is all visual novels. So if you like anime girls, stick around. Anime girls, visual novels. Anyway. All visual novels. Amairo Chocolate 3 is now out on PC through Steam and Denpasoft, with the 18+ version available directly through Denpasoft. The story picks up a year after the protagonist settles into the town of Yunogachi, bringing back Chiri, Mikuri, Ichika, Nana, and Kaguya, while introducing new characters Mitsuki and Kohana. The tone stays in the same lane as the previous entries, where you have relaxed romance, light comedy, and plenty of small-town slice-of-life moments. Further, Sakai Project announced the Western release of Welcome to Cafe Lumiere, a Dragon Girl concept cafe. This is a romantic comedy visual novel from developer Cutioforia. There's no release date at this time, but the Steam page is live, and the 18+ patch will likely be available through Denpasoft. The story follows a dragon deity whose name I don't want to flub on this show so many times just to help Mark edit this. Well, anyway, she escapes her home world to avoid constant worship. Ugh. The pain, the struggle. I get it. After stumbling into a tsundere-made cafe, she becomes obsessed with themed cafes and eventually helps a human open one up of his own. That one's for the dragon lovers out there. I know there's at least 2 of you. 3 counting me. Okay, Sakai Project announced that Watamari Part 2, A Fake Marriage, is coming to PC via Steam in 2026. This continues the Yuri visual novel series that you'll probably want to play Part 1 first, since the entry builds directly on that story. The plot follows a spy named Yatahime, who goes undercover at an academy. When fellow agent Hashino Hikari makes a mistake during her mission, Hime starts a fake relationship to cover up for her. And things get a little complicated fast once Hikari accidentally casts a charm that makes Hime fall in love with her. Next up, P-Cubed has confirmed that Death March Love Comedy will launch on February 19th, 2026 on all major platforms. Written by Amphibian, the same writer behind Raging Loop, it mixes fast comedy with occult mystery. This is the first English release after more than a decade, and it has been confirmed that physical editions are planned for Switch and PS5. Axis Games announced Over Requiemz for Nintendo Switch, planned for a release in summer 2026. This is a darker otome visual novel inspired by The Wizard of Oz, following high schooler Yuhiro after she's pulled into a strange kingdom and sentenced to death. Instead of finding a whimsical world though, she's forced to travel with 4 convicted murderers and a supervisor through collapsing ruins filled with monsters. The setup leans heavily into tension, trust, and competing motives. And you could probably bet you'll find some husbandos in this release. And to close out the show, Birushana Winds of Fate is coming to Switch in 2026 with physical and digital editions announced from Idea Factory International. It's a fan disc for Rising Flower of Genpai, which you can find a review of on Noisy Pixel, adding 9 routes split between post-war epilogues and new storylines set during the conflict. The announcement trailer highlights returning love interests alongside newcomers like the Sato brothers, with routes built around different perspectives of war. And guys, that's it. That's the news. I had to record this early, so if anything is announced later today on Thursday or Friday, it's not going to be in this show because I am at a press thing that I hope to share some more news with you when it's available. But Mark edited this one. He probably did a better job than me. Comment below and we'll talk. See you there.
Noisy Pixel.